Amirawa Hopa, thank you for joining us. The U.S. Supreme Court has released its first decision involving federal Indian law this term. On Monday, the High Court ruled that Native people who are prosecuted in the courts of Indian offenses can also be prosecuted in federal court for the same crime. The case before the justices involved Navajo citizen Merle Dinespe. He served nearly 5 months in jail for assault and battery in a rare kind of court called the Court of Indian Offenses. He was also later prosecuted in federal court for the same crime. Dinespe was sentenced to 30 years in prison. He claimed this was unconstitutional because of the double jeopardy clause. The Supreme Court's ruling Monday said Dinespe was not subject to double jeopardy because tribal and federal courts are sovereigns that can separately define criminal offenses. Stanford assistant law professor Elizabeth Reese spoke to ICT in February about these special courts and how they were started.
Courts of Indian Offenses are types of courts that were really set up by the federal government to provide the equivalent kinds of prosecutions that a tribal court would be doing, but for those tribal communities who were either too small or financially incapable of taking on that authority themselves.
The 30-page opinion was written by Justice Amy Coney Barrett. Well, there's a new push to phase out single-use plastics. On World Oceans Day last week, Interior Secretary Deb Haaland said her agency will end single-use plastics on public lands by 2032. This includes food and beverage containers, straws, and disposable plastic bags. Instead, she suggested bio-based plastics, which are more sustainable, and reusable options are also being suggested. Haaland said the Interior Department has a, quote, obligation to play a leading role in reducing plastic waste. Estimates show at least 14 million tons of plastics pollute the ocean each year. In Oregon, an Indigenous farmer is using time-tested solutions to combat drought. Last summer, a drought punished the central part of the state. That was when Inupiaq citizen Spring Alaska Shriners Irrigation District stopped delivering water. This year is looking worse, so Shriner is switching things up. She is all set to use dry land farming to grow the Three Sisters, corn, beans, and squash. The practice has been used by Indigenous farmers in semi-arid regions for thousands of years. It relies solely on rain and snowmelt to grow crops. The plant's resilience, coupled with Indigenous cultivation knowledge, is giving Shriner confidence, even in the face of Oregon's drier future. The farmer says she'll also look to secure grants to bring in new tech to improve efficiency. An Alaska Native tribe is nominating the Pribilof Islands area for protective sanctuary status. Representatives from the Aleut community of St. Paul Island say the area supports stellar sea lions, northern fur seals, and other marine life. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration announced last Wednesday that it agreed to add the nomination for consideration. The agency said this is not a guarantee it will become a marine sanctuary. In a statement, the president of the Aleut community of St. Paul Island says it wants the designation. The tribe would like to co-manage the marine area. Well, the hit television series Reservation Dogs has picked up another prestigious award. Last week, FX's Indigenous-centric comedy, co-created by Taika Waititi and Sterling Harjo, was presented a Peabody Award.
We making them drop when the Glock go pop, pop, pop. Bullets can't be stopped. That alignment shot when the Glock go pop, pop, pop.
The show features an all-Indigenous writers' room, directors, and series regulars. It follows 4 Native teens in Oklahoma as they rob and steal their way to new adventures. In his pre-recorded video acceptance speech, Harjo, who is Seminole and Muskogee Creek, spoke about expressing authentic experiences.
And just to be able to tell these stories and to share our lives through Reservation Dogs, I think that's where the magic comes from, because they're real stories and they're about real people. And FX gave us the freedom to do that. So, really thankful for that.
Reservation Dogs kicks off its second season on August 3rd.